Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel World of Wrestling, here today to discuss about AEW Dynamite September 1st, 2021 review. The show was actually not that bad. The wrestling, whatever. I mean, it wasn't nothing special. The main event was actually the best part of the entire show. Ortiz and Santana versus FTR was actually a good match, but the end result, I did not agree with FTR losing again when they already lost when Cash Wheeler, I believe, injured his arm. So I didn't particularly agree with that decision there. This match could have actually been something you could have put on the pay-per-view. Took the Paul White versus QT Marshall match completely off the card and put that on tonight's episode of Dynamite, which we did get some build up towards that. Billy Gunn actually turned on what's his face, Paul White. Billy Gunn actually came down to the ring acting like he was coming to his rescue and ultimately turned on him and seemed like he's in QT Marshall's corner here in this situation. So I didn't particularly care for that all that much. I'm not really interested in Paul White versus QT Marshall one bit, to be quite frank with you guys. Personally, overall promotion towards the pay-per-view, excellent. A lot of good promos that took place during the show. I actually did enjoy them very much, especially Chris Jericho and CM Punk's promos towards the pay-per-view. So that is something I don't feel was bad on the show. But overall wrestling quality outside of two matches wasn't so hot. I have to admit that. I hope that nobody hates me for saying this, but I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to be biased in any way, even though I am an AEW fan through and through. It wasn't a terrible show. I'm not going to say that. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's a fucking... They came off of a huge thing with CM Punk, and things are going to get better. They're just kind of cooling down. And when this pay-per-view takes place, things are going to really heat back up. People are going to be really invested in this pay-per-view. This card is actually a very good card. I said this last week. I'll say it again. It's probably the best card AEW has had in their existence. I could be wrong. Someone might debate me on that, and that's totally fine. You know, everybody's got their own opinion, and that's perfectly okay. There's no harm in that. But just my personal feelings on it, I feel that this was an excellent card they build up here. I mean, they got a lot of things coming in. They got a lot of huge surprises that are going to come into All Out, possibly. Daniel Bryan, or let me correct the name so nobody on the channel, corrects me, such as Matt 87 Eagle, you know who you are, Matt. Want to correct me on everything I say. So I'm going to go ahead and say it right. Bryan Danielson, okay? But yeah, Bryan Danielson is definitely someone that we are going to see in AEW. I don't know if this is a confirmation that he's going to show up at All Out. I really wish they'd stop releasing spoilers of when these guys are showing up. It really kills the entertainment value and the surprise. That is something I'm really against, and I think that's something the internet has killed pro wrestling when it comes to the shock value, the pops that they get. It's like, yay, they're here, you know? I honestly think they need to... You want to know the information? Terrific. Don't release it to the public. You don't need to. You want to talk about contract signings and stuff like that, and who may be coming in, who may be going out. That's one thing. But to, shit on when they're going to actually show up, it really doesn't give you that, feeling like when you all of a sudden... Like, for example, The Rock was not even announced in February of 2011. I think it was the episode of February 24th, 2011, Monday Night Raw. I can't believe I fucking remember the exact date. That just goes to show you how much of a freaking wrestling buff I really am, and how much freaking wrestling content I remember. But I believe it was February 24th, 2011, the return of The Rock. I don't believe anyone knew he was coming, and then he just popped out of nowhere. They were stating they were going to announce the host of WrestleMania. I think it was 27. Yeah, 27. And out came The Rock. Nobody thought it was going to be The Rock. That was the biggest shock. Everybody was screaming. It was probably the best pop outside of what CM Punk got at the United Center. Well, actually, no, I'm dead wrong about that. Actually, Rock's pop for that one episode was bigger than CM Punk, and CM Punk's pop was amazing as well. But the one with The Rock went 20 minutes straight. People wouldn't let this guy talk. People were going ape stick. It was even bigger than Hulk Hogan's return in 2002. So that is what I'm trying to say to you guys. The spoilers for when these guys debut really sucks. It's cool to know it, but when it comes to the surprise, there's nothing to it. It's not like you're gonna go. I guarantee if nobody knew CM Punk signed with AEW, they went to the United Center and they didn't throw any hints out to anyone, letting them know that there was probably going to be a return of CM Punk. And we didn't have any of these spoilers. Do you imagine how much of a reaction you would have had compared to what they originally had? And the original pop reaction was terrific. It wasn't bad at all. Fuck no. I'm not discrediting that, but come on, man. You can't go ahead and tell me that the pop that you would have gotten with no freaking advertisements, no hints, no nothing, and you just have randomly CM Punk show up on freaking Rampage on a Friday night at 10 o'clock. You're going to tell me people aren't going to scream to the top of their lungs? Fuck yeah, they're going to. Now, again, someone would come back at me and say this. Well, think about this, Bruce. My name's Bruce. I'm not giving you my last name, but it ain't fucking Pritchard. That I can tell you that much. I thank God every single day my name is not Bruce Pritchard. Because I would hate to think I was like Bruce Pritchard and getting on my knees and sucking Vince McMahon's balls. So yeah, I don't get on my knees and want to suck Vince McMahon's balls because Vince McMahon is a worthless piece of cow dung and a piece of worthless shit, like Jericho said about MJF today. But yeah, someone would probably come back and tell me, hey, you have to admit, though, with people knowing that CM Punk was going to be showing up at the United Center, they may have not gotten the same amount of views for Rampage. You got me there. That I will admit, okay? The amount of people that came to watch this show was outrageous. 10 o'clock at night, you get over 1 million views. That's pretty freaking impressive. I gotta give him that kind of credit. That is one thing that's positive, but the other negative to this is the crowd reaction, I think, would have been even louder if no one even knew he was coming. That's my point. But granted, with things being the way they are, they were trying to get a ratings grab. I get that. And I guess it's no harm, no foul. No one really loses here. And this conversation's pretty much going nowhere. So let me move on here. So the very first match we get is Santan Ortiz versus FTR. Very good matchup overall. But again, like I said, FTR loses again in their second encounter between these two teams. I don't agree with that decision. I think that was a bad decision on their part. I think FTR after they hit their tag team finishing maneuver, which let me find out what the hell that is. The drive-by, I believe it's called. Yeah, the drive-by. So once they hit that drive-by maneuver, I thought the match was going to be over and they were going to walk away victorious and it would be 1-1. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, you're doing 50-50 booking. Not exactly. You got two of the best teams in the tag team division of AEW competing over the opportunity of possibly later on down the line facing for the World Tag Team titles. I don't know what the tag team rankings are, so I'm not going to say anything, but I'm pretty certain these two teams are in the top 5 at least. That I can be certain of without making a dumbass out of myself. But bottom line, I mean, you know, the Santan Ortiz, FTR, they are a great rivalry. They have something that is built up over a real injury that took place for FTR's team, okay? So that is not a terrible thing to have FTR win this match and make it 1-1. This could be led to a big match at Full Gear, which would grant them the opportunity to become the number 1 contender against the World Tag Team Champions, whoever that may be. I'm pretty certain it will be the Young Bucks at Full Gear. So why wouldn't you give FTR the victory at this episode? Full Gear, have Santan Ortiz win this match, and then that would grant them the opportunity to challenge the Young Bucks for the tag team titles, ultimately giving it to Santana and Ortiz for those tag team titles. Because let's be honest, out of all the tag teams that drifted from all these other promotions like Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Wrestling, all those different promotions that were indie wrestling promotions, who has not yet got the run with the tag team titles outside of the Lucha Brothers? Okay, I will admit that Lucha Brothers have not had a run with the tag team titles yet. So anyone that wants to correct me, fine, okay, great. But outside of the Lucha Brothers, Santan Ortiz are the two tag teams that have the tag team that has not won the tag team titles yet. And should be, because they were part of the biggest faction on the show, which is the Inner Circle. Now, apparently, I don't know what's going on, but after Blood and Guts, we didn't really get the Inner Circle Pinnacle situation really resolved here. We got them at the Double or Nothing pay-per-view on May 30th, I think it was. And after that took place and the Inner Circle was able to continue on as a faction, they ultimately broke up anyway. We haven't seen them really do anything with each other. They seem like they're all doing their own thing. The Jake Hager, he's not doing nothing on this show. He hasn't even appeared on the show. Wardlow is kind of like on and off on this show. Outside of the match he had with Chris Jericho, MJF has not done anything of remote importance with him. It's very odd what they just did after Double or Nothing. It feels kind of flat and meaningless. Like, why didn't the Inner Circle just lose and split apart and just do it that way? That would have been the smarter decision based on the way they're doing this now. Pinnacle even feels like they're no longer the Pinnacle. It just feels weird the way they're doing this. So I do question that, and I've been questioning it for the last couple of weeks or so. About this whole situation with us not seeing the Pinnacle and the Inner Circle coming together on the show all the time. So, whatever. We had a backstage segment with 2.0, and Daniel Garcia warned Darby Allin not to overlook the real best in the world. Oh my god, that's pretty fucking retarded. I have to admit, 2.0 Everrise, which is what they went by in NXT, which I have not watched NXT not once, and I don't particularly care to ever watch NXT ever again. I hope they go off television because they don't belong on TV anymore. They are not NXT of old. They are the lame-ass version of NXT, and nor do I give a flying fuck what they have to say or do at this point, because they are not delivering what they used to deliver, which is real pro wrestling. Anyway, they threatened to cancel his match with CM Punk. Garcia says he'll hurt Allen so badly he won't even make it to AEW All Out. Big fucking whoop. Alright, terrific. So we get an in-ring segment with CM Punk. CM Punk, he's got the fans cheering for him and going all crazy just like they were doing at the United Center in previous episodes after that. And he came out and he was being totally honest with the crowd. He said, look, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to expect here at All Out. I could say I'm nervous. I could even possibly say I'm scared out of my mind because I have not wrestled for 7 years. That is some ballsy move to come out and openly admit to the crowd. This was not no script, man. This was not some part of the storyline type of deal. This was Tony Khan saying, speak your mind, tell the fans how you truly feel. Let's make this feel like a legit, ordinary match that everyone can consume themselves to, that can invest into, and make it feel like a real sports competition between two wrestlers who want to prove they're the absolute best in the world, I guess you could say, in this situation. So CM Punk in this case is actually coming out of retirement from pro wrestling to prove that he's the best in the world and show the fans that he still got it. And the funny part is the fans chanted, you still got it, and he hasn't even done one single match yet. That's the crazy part. But we did see a little bit of action done by CM Punk in this segment. We saw 2.0 and Daniel Garcia attack CM Punk. It took Sting and Darby Allin quite a bit of time for them to show up and actually, even out the odds a little bit for them. And they finally did. And CM Punk delivered a GTS. Now, the GTS wasn't terrible. Something Monday Night Raw can do to anybody is put people to sleep. So go to sleep while you watch Monday Night Raw, because you're not going to miss much of anything. Or find something else better to do if you don't want to get a GTS from Monday Night Raw. Anyway, but yeah, he did deliver a decent GTS, but you could notice there was some kind of slight, mishap on his part. He seems like he's lost a few steps. He seems like he's going to have to go through the drawing board and really work on his in-ring wrestling. He seems a little rusty. I don't think we're going to see any kind of real heavy mistakes made in the ring with CM Punk at All Out. I think he's going to really straighten that issue out if there is any. Based off of what I seen, I do see a little bit of an issue with CM Punk possibly taking place at this match, but nothing to the ordinary eye that they're going to notice this match is god-awful terrible, okay? So let's not think that this match is going to be like fucking Bill Goldberg or some kind of shit like that. Or, some old bastard who can't fucking move in the ring. But yeah, I don't think we're going to see a terrible match, but I do believe we probably might find a little bit of in-ring rust by CM Punk during his match with Darby Allin at All Out. The Icon Sting says 3 of them want to make their match at the pay-per-view. Wait, let me read this back. The Icon says 3 of them want to make their match at the pay-per-view. Match goes on, and he knows both men are ready for showtime. He also states that he won't be at ringside on Sunday so Allen can face Punk one-on-one. This is a very good thing that they got Sting out of the picture. It will take away possibly from Darby Allin's win, and it gives Allen the ability to prove that he is the future of AEW, as being one of the guys to be the future of AEW. So, bottom line, I see a future in Darby Allin with AEW. I definitely see him as a world champion caliber, along with MJF. Definitely MJF is worth main event quality. I'm not going to disagree on that. Most definitely. We get a video package hyping up Kenny Omega's title match with Christian Cage at All Out. Veterans like Paul White say Cage has already defeated Omega. Shit like that. Tony Schiavone then interviews MJF with a very funny and entertaining introduction to the interview. Calls MJF one of the worst human beings he's ever met. Says he's a real dirtbag, but he's going to do this interview regardless. So, MJF goes ahead and talks about Chris Jericho, AEW's All Out pay-per-view match that he's got going on. MJF lists Jericho's nickname and notes that he's been a wrestler for 4 decades. He admits that Jericho will always be one of the greatest, but he makes it clear that he'll be taking Chris Jericho's place. MJF compares Jericho to a great like Muhammad Ali, who kept coming back for the spotlight even as his body was falling apart. Very, very good comparison between Muhammad Ali and Chris Jericho. I absolutely agree with those comments. Jericho has, in his career, in the late stage of his career, has come back, left, come back, and left over and over again. And for the last 10 years, I would say. But this is more than likely his retirement match. I do not see MJF losing this match, most definitely. And here's the reason why. I do believe that is actually the next segment is Chris Jericho's, it was Orange Cassidy and Jack Evans. Orange Cassidy wins this match. This was a nothing match, nothing special to talk about. Orange Cassidy's been winning matches, but his matches don't seem all that big of a deal like they were last year. I mean, last year he was competing against Jericho. He was having some important moments that I truly think that would have got him over eventually. He had a nice triple threat match with himself, Pac, and Kenny Omega at Double or Nothing. And then they just kind of dropped him off to the side like as if he's not important or, doesn't need to be with the main event names that are in AEW. I totally disagree with what they did here. I don't think that was the right decision. If worst case scenario, if you really wanted to keep him out of the world championship with Kenny Omega, I understand. But to not put him in a storyline with Miro for the TNT championship, I think is a total mishap on AEW's part, because Orange Cassidy would play a great role in the mid-card championship, especially what Darby Allin did with that title, helped him out a lot. Miro's getting a lot of help from carrying that TNT championship. And even if you weren't to give the title to Orange Cassidy against Miro, I wouldn't get upset with that decision either, because you could play off a long-term storyline with these two over the championship. So I'm not quite sure why they put Orange Cassidy on the wayside instead of trying to build his name up even more. They did a great job last year with Jericho, like I said just a few seconds ago. But to not put him with the TNT championship, I don't understand what the fuck they're doing with him. He's actually a good asset to the company, and people love him. They still do, even with him being in these bullshit matches. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing to Orange Cassidy, but they're making a mistake with him and creatively. I mean, nobody hates him, nobody dislikes him or anything, but he's not really in anything important on the show. That's the problem. And people enjoy the guy, the character and what he's portraying. He's portraying a laid-back, cool dude who doesn't take stuff all so seriously. He's just a nice, quiet guy that just loves pro wrestling. That's it. That's all he's doing. So, whatever. So, a promo. Eddie Kingston vows to take the TNT Championship, so he won't be a God's favorite champion anymore. He says they'll walk through hell together, and on the other hand, Miro says he'll redeem Kingston at the price of agony. So, that's pretty much what they're doing here. Eddie Kingston says the weakness to Miro at this point is his neck. He figures that he's had problems with his neck in pro wrestling, so what he's going to do is go after the neck, injure him, make it harder for him to get through the match, and eventually, by working on the neck, get a victory and walk away victorious with TNT Championship. Eddie Kingston has a choice to go up against Miro. I'm not sure if that was the right decision. Like I said before, I think Orange Cassidy should be competing over the TNT Championship. Just my personal opinion. But whatever. Next, we had a video package hyping up Jon Moxley's match with Satoshi Kojima at All Out. I'm not really hyped up for this at all. I think this is probably the worst match that Jon Moxley's had on AEW since his time he's been part of the company. So I'm not too excited about this. I don't think it's going to be a terrible match, but it's got nothing behind it. There's nothing they're fighting for. It's just a filler match they're throwing in there just for the sake of putting it on the card and having a New Japan wrestler name on the card to compete against Jon Moxley from AEW. So I don't find anything special about it. If anything, they could have taken Jon Moxley off the card. I don't think it would have been that big of a deal to anybody's liking, unless it was with Tanahashi for the IWGP US Championship. That's the only reason why I would have even put him on the card. So, whatever. Alright, so Jim Ross is now interviewing Chris Jericho in the ring. This was actually a big moment, and the reason why is because back in 1999, when Jericho showed up in WWF against The Rock in Chicago, he interrupted The Rock and had that big moment. People were freaking in shock, surprised by the fact that he even showed up in WWE, WWF at the time. And he had a great promo back and forth with The Rock, humongous pop by the crowd. And he said if it's one thing that he could possibly do, if he was going to end his career, he'd like to end it where he started with WWF, and that's in Chicago. Started tearing up, and I said to myself, oh shit, that's a clue. He's going to be losing. There is no doubt about it. In my mind, it doesn't matter how much I want Jericho to stay. He ain't staying. He gave the best promo he could possibly give. Probably will be his last promo he'll ever have outside of being on commentary. So he's not leaving AEW. He's just leaving in-ring competition. And I don't think they're going to go back on their word. They have not done that with a lot of the wrestlers that have come into AEW. If you don't believe me, look at Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes had an opportunity to compete for the AEW World Championship against Chris Jericho. Go figure. For the World Championship in 2019 at Full Gear, they competed over the title, and Jericho won that match, and Cody has never challenged for a world championship since then. So, with that being said, what, you think they're going to back out on their word on this? No, it ain't going to happen. This ain't WWE, folks. When they say something, it goes that way forever. At least for right now, it has. Anyway, Very great promo by MJF, or not MJF, Chris Jericho, and calling MJF a piece of shit. I thought that was really entertaining to listen to. But yeah, overall, great promo. Good stuff that he delivered here. No complaints on my part. I think Jericho delivered what he could deliver here in this promo best that he could, and no harm, no foul there. I think they did an excellent job with that. Next, we had Brian Cage versus Powerhouse Hobbs. This was actually a good, entertaining, old-school match, in my opinion. Two big, buffed-up dudes getting in the ring, roughing each other up, and, kicking a little ass. I liked it. I thought it was a good match. I didn't think it was terrible. It brought me back to the days of, watching the Ultimate Warrior going up against a big, muscular guy. We could say Hulk Hogan, even. Except Ultimate Warrior is probably the worst fucking big man wrestler of all time. He's more of an entertainer when it comes to his character than an actually in-ring competitor back when he was alive, but fuck. Yeah, I don't particularly think he was a great wrestler. That's very, very, not even debatable. That's a common fact that he was not a great wrestler in the ring. But yeah, the match was good. The ending kind of sucked with Ricky Starks hitting Brian Cage in the head with the FTW championship, and that's how the match ended. And Will Hobbs actually hit one of his. He gets a pinfall, and that was it. That's how he wins the match. So, match was good. The ending, like I said, wasn't exactly the best way to end it. But hey, they're playing heel roles, so it doesn't really make a big deal out of it. I don't need to make a big deal out of this. So we have a promo from Malachi Black. He says he left the ring last week because he dictates when he fights. Kind of sounds like the character he had in WWE. He wants someone to pick a fight. Only he's picking the fight when he feels it's necessary to pick the fight with someone. And I think that is a very great idea by AEW. It's kind of like something WWE should have done in the first place, which they had something going there. They just didn't do it in the right manner. Obviously. Like usual, they fuck everything up. That's why AEW exists, guys. AEW exists because WWE fails to provide a good, entertaining product when it comes to pro wrestling. Because they don't want to be pro wrestling. They're shit. Anyway, so he says he picks the fights. He says he gave Lee Johnson 7 days to atone, and he'll make him suffer for his sins. He vows to put coins on Johnson's eyes when he sends him to Hades. And that's pretty much it. QT Marshall, I already discussed this. He had some sort of thing that he had a segment with Paul White. Nothing special here. This was bullshit. Paul White can't even move around in the fucking ring. So, folks, you know what to expect for this pay-per-view match. When Paul White and QT Marshall comes on, that's when you go to the bathroom, take a shit, and there's your match right there. A big giant wad of crap right in your toilet is Paul White and QT Marshall in a nutshell. Anyway, backstage after she teased a major free agent signing by Britt Baker, AEW Women's World Champion Britt Baker announces that she has re-signed with AEW. So they kind of hinted that there's an idea that Adam Cole, baby, is coming to AEW. I hope to God he does, because he ever fucking goes back to WWE, think somebody needs to get him a new brain. Give him a brain transplant and fix it quickly, because that guy on the other side of the pond, or, whatever way you want to put it, or all the way upstate, in good Stamford, Connecticut, that little northern bullshit corporation over there, that promotion, They don't believe in wrestling, yet they got a ring with ropes and they're doing wrestling holds. So, it's a total contradiction. You get what I mean? That's what WWE is. They're just a contradiction entertainment show. Whatever, man. Doesn't matter. But yeah, she says she re-signed. She also states that Rebel and Jamie Hayter will compete in the Casino Battle Royale at All Out. So, whoop-de-fucky-do. On Rampage, these two women will compete against Chris Statlander in a handicap match, and that is pretty much what's stated there. We get Penelope Ford going up against Tay Conte. This match I didn't really care for. It was okay for what it was, but nothing special. I mean, what are they competing over? Are they getting an opportunity to move up in the rankings? Did they even express that during this fucking match? No, not really. So who cares? We also had Thunder Rosa backstage. She had a very small segment that meant nothing. And I mean fucking nothing. This woman's supposed to be hyped up for the next challenger to Brett Baker somewhere down the line. And you're gonna have her in this shit with Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose, who has lost 50 million fucking ways to Sunday and still can't freaking buy a victory, this bitch? Give me a break, man. This is fucking stupid. Jade Cargill hasn't even shown or done anything but one fucking match against, I think it was Red Velvet, Kiera Hogan on Rampage. That's her last match. And between that time and the last match before that, she went several months not doing a fucking thing. So who gives a shit? I can't take Jade Cargill seriously when she's off television for several months. How the hell can anyone take her seriously? It's ridiculous. So, whatever, man. They got her attacking freaking Thunder Rosa with Nyla Rose. Now, I'm not sure. I think Thunder Rosa is competing in the Battle Royale, and if that's the case, then I guess that makes sense for why they're doing it. And if that's true, I was incorrect. I apologize. Excuse me for being incorrect. All right? Okay, yeah, Thunder Rose is cornered by Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose. A little preview of the Casino Battle Royale. Yeah, that's the reason why. Okay, sorry guys. I was wrong. Thunder Rose is in the Battle Royale. Sue me. Beat me up over the head with a lead pipe. Do whatever you like. I don't care. I'm here. You're there. You can't touch me through a screen. So if you do, you're kind of breaking your own property, which is kind of stupid. Anyway. Our main event is Jurassic Express and the Lucha Brothers going up against the Elite, which consists of the Young Bucks and Doc Gallows and fucking Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. This match was very entertaining for a 8-man tag team match main event. The Young Bucks walk away victorious with the maneuver. I believe it was on Rey Fenix. I'm pretty certain. Let me just scroll down to the end of the match. Yeah, they give the Meltzer driver to Rey Fenix, and the Young Bucks get the victory. So, that's how the match ends. And then we get Kenny Omega showing up. Kenny Omega pretty much destroys them. Don Callis is able to gain access somehow. I guess apparently Tony Khan has become too much of a softie to allow other people to know where their shit is, to lower objects from the top of the ceiling of the arena to go down to the floor so that they could utilize the cage to keep people out while they destroy their opponents. And Christian Cage was actually in there as well, and he got finished up with a nice ass whooping for his own troubles. And the Jurassic Express and the Lucha Brothers got their asses whooped. So it was a nice elite beatdown, kind of like an Evolution type beatdown from back in the day. So that was pretty much it, guys. I mean, there's nothing more to this. This was actually a decent show. I'm not going to say it was a great show. But it was a decent way to build towards the pay-per-view, get people interested in going ahead and purchasing the pay-per-view live on pay-per-view, of course. But you get my point. So yeah, I don't have any major issues with it. I just think the wrestling matches could have been a little bit better. But the start of the show and the ending of the show were both great for the matches that they had. The rest of it was, whatever. But hype up wise, not bad. Good job by AEW for the pay-per-view. And at this time, guys, I'm tired. I'm fucking exhausted. And at this time, you know what to do. Hit the like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below. As always, I'll definitely get back to you on that. And of course, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. And I thank you again for watching. Have a great night, guys. Bye.